In 2023, amidst a turbulent period with my father, I found refuge by subletting a cabin rental. The primary tenant, whom I'll simply call my landlord for convenience, was dealing with personal issues, prompting their departure. The cabin, paid on a monthly basis, suited my temporary predicament perfectly. It comprised 2 floors, including a small kitchen, a decently sized living area, and a bedroom accessible via a quaint hatch-type door, reached by a short flight of stairs. Nestled at the end of a dirt road alongside similar cabins, one of which appeared vacant, the others were inhabited, though I hadn't met the neighbors personally. My work demanded exhausting 12-hour shifts, often leaving me too fatigued to do much besides retire to bed and unwind with TV. One night, while indulging in a late-night snack, I was startled by a voice emanating from below, questioning who was upstairs. My heart skipped a beat, unsure if it originated from inside or outside the cabin. Hastily, I silenced the TV and peered out the circular window, finding darkness outside. After a tense exchange of calls, met only with silence, I cautiously descended the stairs, switching on lights as I went, finding no one downstairs. Attempting to rationalize the encounter, I checked the surroundings from inside and out, only to find no sign of intruders. Retreating to my bedroom, I resumed watching TV, only to be greeted by forceful pounds on the bedroom door, amplifying my dread. Paralyzed by fear, I remained motionless, realizing the vulnerability of my situation. After an eternity of silence, I mustered the courage to search for my phone, which inexplicably eluded me. Descending into the dimly lit living room, I silently slipped out the back door, fleeing to the nearest inhabited neighbor for assistance. However, my plea for help was met with eerie silence, prompting a hasty retreat back to the safety of my cabin. Upon re-entering, I meticulously searched for both intruders and my elusive phone, eventually finding the latter in my car. With trepidation, I ascended the stairs, only to encounter an unwelcome visitor lounging on my bed, fixated on the TV. Terrified, I bolted downstairs and dialed 911 from the safety of my car, witnessing a figure disappearing into the woods. Police arrived promptly, conducting a thorough search before advising me to find alternate accommodation for the night. Swallowing my pride, I sought refuge at my father's house temporarily, returning the next day to retrieve my belongings. Fortunately, the landlord offered a partial refund, though their lack of further inquiry into the matter left me unsettled, pondering the inexplicable events and the unsettling behavior of the neighbor. It was a Tuesday night in 2013, close to 11:00 p.m., as I trudged down a dimly lit street on my way home from work. With my car undergoing repairs, I had to trek the 3-mile journey on foot each day. Living in a small town in southern Indiana meant sparse traffic past 10 p.m., mostly just truckers bound for Indianapolis. As I turned onto a dirt road about a mile into my walk, I heard the distant hum of a motor gradually drawing nearer. About a quarter mile down the road I had just turned off, I spotted a van inching along without its lights on. Given the local car dealership's penchant for selling vehicles with broken parts, including headlights, I initially brushed off the van's unusual behavior. However, my unease heightened when the van suddenly revved up, its lights blazing, as it approached the turn onto the side road. As the van neared the intersection, it extinguished its lights once more and slowed down, sending shivers down my spine. Hastening my pace, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, repeatedly glancing over my shoulder for signs of pursuit. My worst fears were confirmed when the van turned onto the dirt road, mere feet away from me. Panic surged through me as I broke into a sprint, the chilling sight of both passenger and driver doors flung open, driving me to flee for my life. Moments later, a gunshot rang out, and terror seized me as I imagined the worst. Seeking refuge, I veered into the nearby forest and hid behind a large rock, straining to remain silent. To my horror, I overheard a middle-aged man and what sounded like 3 young girls discussing my escape into the woods. Their ominous conversation, including mentions of drinking blood, sent a chill down my spine. With dread coursing through me, I waited in fearful silence, praying for rescue. Relief flooded over me when I heard the distant sound of police sirens, prompting me to emerge from hiding and seek help. The officers, upon hearing my account, assured me they would investigate. That night, from the safety of my home, I observed the same van prowling my street, prompting me to note its license plate and alert the authorities once more. Subsequent inquiries revealed reports of the suspicious van across multiple states, each linked to the same South Dakota license plate. Despite extensive investigation, the true nature of the van's occupants and their sinister intentions remained shrouded in mystery. Terrified by the ordeal, I relocated from Indiana, resolved to remain vigilant against any signs of danger. My wife Gianna and I led a typical suburban life, with regular jobs and a modest routine. But one evening, after a routine day's work, we encountered something inexplicable that continues to haunt us. Returning home from a dinner outing around 9 p.m., we settled into our nightly routine, preparing for bed by 9:30. Normally, we'd read or watch TV until lights out at 11 p.m., but that night, a ringing phone disrupted our calm. We hesitated, both recognizing that late-night calls rarely brought good news. Nevertheless, fearing an emergency, I reached for the receiver, only for the ringing to cease abruptly, leaving no trace on the caller ID. Minutes later, the phone rang again, displaying an unknown number. This struck us as odd, considering the hour. With a sense of urgency, I answered, only to find silence on the other end. Before I could question further, the call ended, leaving us unsettled. Shortly after, the phone rang again, this time showing my neighbor Al's number. His voice, however, conveyed urgency, urging me to check outside for a stranger standing near our house. Confused, I complied, only to find no one there. Perplexed, I called Al, seeking an explanation, but the call went to voicemail. Resigned, I left a message, but before long, the phone rang again, displaying Al's number once more. This time, he reiterated the same cryptic warning before abruptly hanging up. Investigating once more, I spotted a figure outside, shrouded in darkness. Confronting the individual yielded no response, only heightening our unease. To our astonishment, when I contacted Al again, he denied making any calls and claimed no one was outside. Bewildered and shaken, we exchanged assurances of the surreal events, seeking solace in each other's presence. Despite our efforts to rationalize the ordeal, the inexplicable nature of the situation lingered, leaving us with more questions than answers. In the end, we were left grappling with an enigma that defied explanation, uncertain of its true nature or purpose.